November is the month of men's mental health. Hey everyone, happy Monday and welcome back to the channel. I have some very bad news. I could have sworn I put my Snorlax to sleep last night, but it's saying I have no sleep data, so I'm kind of bummed. It's probably going to be a short, very uneventful video, but I hope you guys have fun anyways. We are just going to try to start our week off on the right foot despite this little hiccup. So I'm missing out on day 7 of the Halloween event, which sucks. I still haven't found a mono pumpkaboo. In fact, all of the pumpkaboos I've encountered and caught have been mixed ingredient list, which sucks. But you know what? The bright side is we were able to make the new pancake dish dessert that came out. My overall grade took a hit though, probably because of the little hiccup that we got. But I think this week I want to go to Topalo because I do want to find a oil farmer. That way I don't have to rely on my Magnezone to farm me oil. It does a good job at farming oil, but the danger lies whenever it procs its skill. And it procs its skill pretty often. So 31 pot expanding space per proc, that adds up. And sometimes I don't have 62 extra ingredients just laying around. We are doing curries and stews this week, which is really good because that means I get to have the opportunity to make the other new pumpkin dish that came out. But yeah, that's the goal. I want a oil farming Toxicroak and a cacao farming Haldane Whooper. So that's what we are looking for this week. Let me know what you guys are looking for, or maybe you're just taking it chill before the 2-week debut event of Amber Canyon. So I'm going to try to prep for the debut event in terms of what sort of ingredients I should be farming and stockpiling on for the week to come. I may be using an easy pass ticket. We're gonna see if we will try to gamble the odds of getting a dish week that we want in order to really maximize drowsy power, but who knows, we'll see. Sadly, we can't go into the sleep pass because there's no sleep research. And I hope you guys had better luck than me with this pumpkaboo. Maybe I'm just being a bit of a sore loser, but it feels sometimes like when there are new releases to the Pokemon, I just get bad catches, you know? Let me show you guys the other pumpkaboos I've caught during our time away. So we'll start with this one, mixed ingredients, and it's finally a small variety, so cute. But it's inventory up L, inventory up M, skill level up S, ingredient finding S and M does not come until way later, like unlockable type of later. Nature is alright, could be worse, but what is worse is that it is mixed ingredients. But look at that, at level 60, 15 whopping potatoes. That's wild. And then again, it was another mixed small variety pumpkaboo that I got. It's ingredient finding M, skill level up S, skill trigger M, inventory up S, and a gold skill at level 100 being sleep EXP bonus. It is a neutral nature, but overall unusable, nothing mono. So yeah, that's the shiny rufflet we got on Halloween. At least there's that. Looking so chocolatey and milky, like, oh my god, you know what this reminds me of? A Bueno bar. The Kinder Bueno, oh my gosh. I wish they made that filling in a jar so I can use it as like a spread or to put in my coffees, because I feel like that would be just so phenomenal. I love it because it's not too sweet, you know? It's not too sweet, it's creamy, and I love the hazelnut taste and just the feeling of the cream that's encased in the wafer. It's so good. And the lightest layer of chocolate on the outside, which is like the perfect lightest layer of chocolate. And then here is the jumbo variety pumpkaboo, and I think yeah, not all of them are mixed, but we got some ABA, ACCs, La-di-das, and all that stuff. So overall, not a good harvest for us with the pumpkaboos, but I do love seeing the different sizes. They're so cute, that's so funny. So who is excited for Amber Canyon. I'm excited because of the newness of it. It's a nice change of scenery. It's gonna be nice to hear what kind of music they put as well. Actually, you know what? Let us change our team into our curry team. Oh shoot. Oh, Arya still has good HP though because Proctor skill, but this will be my curry team. We are farming for the ninja curries, so this is our ingredients list. We got some leeks, mushrooms, peppers, and beans. And then Arya, our healer. All right, research community time. I have a confession to make though. I already drank some coffee. I'm so sorry guys, I feel like I cheated on you, but here is my latte of the day. I went to Nespresso the other day with my friend. She picked me up and we went window shopping at the mall and there was a Nespresso store. So obviously I passed by because I was running low on my stock, and they have the new holiday stuff, and there is this peppermint pinwheel coffee flavor, and I tried it in store and I quite liked the peppermint taste in it. I wish it was a tad stronger, but the aroma and essence of peppermint is in there, so I thought what better way to welcome in November than to get something pepperminty, and I love peppermints. So I'm very happy. I enjoy this. It is a nice flavor, and I have white honey, Malden flaky sea salt, and cinnamon as well to accompany this. So cheers to us. Also, very important thing I want to point out, November is the month of men's mental health. So to all the men watching this video, I hope you prioritize your mental health. You truly deserve it, and you live such a more fulfilling and full life when you decide that mental health is important and that it is worth investing and growing that aspect of your life. I hope you take it to yourself to know that you deserve a happy life and that you deserve all the help that is available to you. And there's no shame at all in getting help. Talk to a friend, talk to a specialist, and don't ever let society make you feel less than just because you are in tune with your emotions. If anything, it makes you more human, and that is something to be so happy and proud of. So cheers to all the men in this channel. I appreciate you guys. You have been so amazing as a community. And a final cheers to men's mental health for the month of November. You guys, mental health is not something to scoff at. And I say this coming from an Asian household, East Asian, third world country, where mental health and depression is not something people talk about. In fact, they will be like, depression, just sleep it off. Depression doesn't exist. And if you do seek therapy, it's seemed or looked upon as like, wow, she must have had a psychotic break or like mental in the bad way for her to seek help or go to a therapist, which I feel so sad for. I feel like it does not help people when society looks at therapy as something so bad and shameful. Jude, your totodile, it's so perfect. And it's got a little leaf over there too. Wow, this is beautiful. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it breaks my heart when I hear some men tell me that they can't open up to their guy friends. And sometimes when I have some men open up to me and they're like, this feels so great, and I ask them like, are you able to talk like this with your guy friends? And they're like, no, you know, like for example, if you tell them something like, oh, we broke up, and they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry, man, and then that's it. They don't kind of like dig in for more or lean in on that moment to share that vulnerable space with each other. It breaks my heart to hear. But I also know that not too much of their fault, because Spider Rogue, shiny Driflim, congrats. Oh my gosh, and they also have a shiny Vulpix. Beautiful, they're matchy now. But I know that with men, sometimes unfortunately they aren't socialized or they weren't brought up in an environment at home where open discourse towards feelings and thoughts are encouraged. So how can you fault someone to not know how to be there or hold space for those sorts of moments? But at the same time, it comes to the point where, even though at no fault of your own, there comes a point where you need to seek that sort of awareness on where you fall short in life and hope to maybe change that in order to see how much better your life can be improved, instead of just maintaining a status quo and then falling into this sort of victim mindset or waiting for someone to save you or, help change you in some ways. So I do hope this encourages you guys to, maybe if you're too scared to seek out a therapist, because it can be a very daunting thing, just finding the right one, getting to the rhythm of things, and like knowing what to look for in a good therapist. If not that, at least find someone that you feel safe enough with to talk to about what you're going through. I'm very lucky that over the years, my best friend and I have really created such a solid foundation in our friendship where I feel so safe telling her things, knowing that she's not going to be defensive or take it too personal. To give you an example, the other day we were hanging out, the same friend that brought me to the mall. And there was something that she had said the week prior that rubbed me the wrong way and didn't sit right with me. And I knew that I wanted to bring it up with her when we were one-on-one. So she picks me up and I'm like, hey, I kind of have a bone to pick with you. And she kind of had a feeling of what I was going to say, which was funny, but also really great because it just shows awareness that she took the time to think about what she said, or she was in tune enough with my reactions or my body language to pick up any sort of discomfort that I may have felt in her words. So I brought it up to her. I told her how I felt about a certain situation that happened between us. And immediately the first thing she reacted to was that she was very thankful that I was able to bring it up to her, and that she's happy that I'm able to talk to her about these things instead of hold it in. And then she apologized. She immediately apologized. She wasn't defensive or, do that thing where some people do where it's like, oh, but I said that because blah, like that is not an apology. She just said sorry. And that was really helpful, and it made me feel so seen, and we were able to talk through the situation from my perspective and her perspective. And it was truly a conversation, it wasn't confrontational. It wasn't an attack. None of us got on the defensive, but we were truly just like listening to each other. And like, I agree with her points. She agreed with mine. And then that was it. And we moved on from it and we continued enjoying our day. And that is so healthy, It's so good for the nervous system too. I feel like when you want to talk to someone about something difficult and you feel so nervous and anxious, try to understand where that nervousness and anxiousness is coming from, and whether or not the dynamic of that relationship is healthy for you. Because I feel like if you're constantly walking on eggshells and you feel anxious to talk to someone important about something they did that hurt you, maybe due to how they would react or how they would respond, or maybe that you wouldn't feel heard afterwards, or they might dismiss your feelings, then the body doesn't lie. What you're feeling is telling you something, and you're so valid in feeling that. Of course, there are caveats to this, like just learning each other's communication styles and learning, like maybe it's the delivery that you said that may have triggered the person, But all things being equal, if like you came to them in a very healthy way and they react poorly, you're obviously gonna feel a certain way, and that sucks. And I feel bad for those of you who have been through that. I feel like we all have experienced that at one point in our lives, and it's so important to recognize what a unhealthy nervous system feels like. And I wasn't aware of that until my therapist pointed out about how I was constantly in fight or flight. And I found that during the time where my nervous system was at its worst, I've actually dismissed some signs that my body was giving me. For example, I had like an inflamed thyroid for the past 2 years, and my armpit, the thyroid there was inflamed as well. But as of recently, since experiencing a little bit more peace in my life, I don't have the thyroid pains on it would be here, my right neck or my armpit. So now when I touch my armpit, I'm like, oh my gosh, the pain is not there anymore. I don't feel swollen here. I don't see the bump anymore. And that was one thing that when I visited family in Vietnam, they pointed it out to me, and they brought me to a doctor because they were so concerned, because thyroid issues was a family in the women of our family. But I get my blood tested and like everything's good. The doctor did like an ultrasound on my neck, and he was like, looks good, nothing to be alarmed, but they don't know why it was swollen. And I was just experiencing a lot of stress. So yeah, the body doesn't lie. Really learn to be in tune with your body. You know, no one else is going to recognize that for you. And a lot of times when it comes to health, you have to be the number one advocate. But in order to do that, you really need to know yourself. Understand what your body is telling you. Don't neglect it. Don't push it aside, because the longer it festers, the worse it will, you know, manifest in certain ailments or things that show up in the body. So take it seriously. It's very hot for men to take mental health seriously, okay? Let me tell you that much. But yeah, all that to say, I'm super thankful for my friend, and we've grown so much together throughout the years that I'm just so happy when I think about like where our friendship is right now and how fulfilled I feel with her, you know? And then the next day she sent me the loveliest text message, and she was just like, I love you and thank you for feeling so safe to like tell me these things and stuff. And it brought the biggest smile on my face, you know? And she's truly the bestest friend I could ever ask for, because she makes me feel so safe and so heard. But at the same time, I could be so goofy and funny around her. We are like almost complete opposites. We have barely any hobbies in common. She does not game or anything, but she'll let me ramble on about my passions for like Pokemon, and she'll be like, I love that for you. I love how excited you are about this. You know what I mean? And she just lets me be me, and I let her be her, and we have really good back and forth when we talk, which makes the conversation much more fulfilling. And having such a good substantial conversation from friends will never drain your social battery. If ever you feel like when you go out for interaction and you feel drained after interacting with a person, let that be a data point for you, you know? But I never ever feel drained after seeing my best friend. I feel recharged, I feel happy, and it's just like a plus moment in my day. So yeah, my hope for men for the month of men's mental health in November is that you prioritize yourself and your happiness in healthy ways that will enrich your life. Whether that be therapy, opening up with friends, being a little bit more in tune with your emotions, journaling to write down your thoughts, pursuing a new hobby, doing something that you've constantly told yourself like, no, I could never do that, I wouldn't be good at that, you know. This is the month to really give yourself a chance. You know, I hope you guys give yourself a chance. And that is what I want to leave you with on this Monday. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, comment, or subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Join us in the Discord. It's a great community. And I am streaming tomorrow on Twitch for more Pokemon ZA. So I hope to see you guys there. So until then, you guys, take care, good luck, and have fun. Bye.